1 year ago, Tunica Lake, about an hour south of Memphis, Tennessee, there's Gary Klein winning the $100,000 first prize with a terrific stringer of fish from those willow trees there. We're back to the present. Terry McKenna, Tommy Sanders. This tournament's on again in the Walmart FLW Tour, but it's not the same river we saw last year.
You know, in spite of how hard we try to convince people, our viewers still think that a fishing tournament consists of a nice weekend on the lake, sunshine, no wind.
Vacation.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I'm looking at the bank here behind us now in boat ramps and all. The water's probably 50 feet below what it was when we were here last year.
Close to that.
We have a lot of guys that have been here long enough where the water has fallen out from under them 10 feet while they were here.
Practice. That's right. And at that time when they got here, there were 100 lakes they could get in off the river, little cutoff lakes. Those are all gone now. That's why they're having to make tremendous long runs.
There you go. These guys, they lose their nice sunny weekend. They've got to make long trips through actually very dangerous waters, lots of wind, barge tracks. It gets really tough. Some of these guys, an example, Randy Block is running, 360, 70 miles round trip, has 45 minutes to fish, works all the way down the river to this lake, 6 casts, 5 fish, 20 pounds, crank the motor up, 180 miles back to Memphis. Wow.
The plan is, like all week, we've just got a long day of boat riding. This is one tournament the fishing's been really secondary just to the boat runs. I mean, between the strong southerly wind against the current, the barge weights, and the sandbars that are barely underwater. I mean, there's just a ton of variables that can possibly go wrong. That's the good thing about the area I'm fishing. Once that I get in there, the fish, they seem to be pretty easy to catch. I caught a limit like in an hour or so every day in there. And I'm just, really focused on getting down there safe and getting back safe and, just taking it one cast at a time when I get down there.
We've got some guys, some veterans who've been through the wars who know how to deal with these sorts of situations. And those, by and large, the guys we find in our top 10 today, guys like Roland Martin, Rick Klein, our champion from last time out, Gary Klein, last year's champion here at Memphis, Ken Cook,
Davey Hyde.
Davey Hyde won the Classic last year. We got a great lineup, a lot of adventure today, so don't go anywhere. Some people say the Mississippi River south of Memphis is a bass factory, and the low water the past few years has not taken away from that fact, but it certainly has challenged the bass pros still left standing in this grueling bass fishing tournament. 75 miles south of Memphis is Lake Tunica. Another 115 miles south, Lake DeSoto, and 180 miles south of Memphis, Lake Whittington. 3 of the stops we'll be making today. A 4th stop just across from Lake DeSoto is Lake Melwood. That's where we find Roland Martin and his partner Tom Hunt.
Might have been a bluegill. Went tap, 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 tap. Then again, it could have been a great big monster, 15-pound bass.
Roland sounds optimistic today, and if these guys didn't have enough to worry about, it is pouring downrange.
White bass. I think with the white bass coming in, with the other fish. Yeah.
White bass certainly won't be kept today. They are not eligible. This is largemouth only.
You can't count white bass, Tommy. But I tell you what, when you're around white bass, there's a darn good chance that there's some blacks along with them. So it's not like Roland's going to pick up here and run off to another place. There's big fish in the area, or the whites wouldn't be there.
No, that might be a bass. Yeah. There's bass. There's bass. I can't come around half of the. There's bass. There's bass, boy. He survived with one jump. If we can. Thank you, sir. That's what it takes. This size fish right here. A good 3.5 pounder. That's perfect. Thanks, sir. Okay, now we get out here and crank up some more. Here, pull back out of there.
Do you think the fish move around quite a bit in these lakes?
Oh, I'm sure with falling water they do. It's fallen a little bit since yesterday, so I'm sure that they're going to keep. Oh, what was that? Heck, I think it was a strike. I don't know. It seems awfully funny. There's a lot of garfish and mudfish and weird fish in here, but something hit my crankbait. I'm going to have to make a couple more casts right here to see.
How much has the water dropped out on your fish yesterday, Roland?
Well, it's dropped a couple feet since yesterday, but probably about 7 or 8 feet since when we started here. The water was up in the willow trees, and they're up at least 5 feet up in the bank.
So with the water dropping like that, you virtually have to start over every day. Every day is a new day, isn't that right?
Well, my theory is that there's getting to be less and less cover and less structure as the water falls. And so I'm keying in on the mate. There's one. Little baby. But that's all right. That's son of a gun. It's better than not catching any. And no, it's a white bass. When I felt the daggone good strike a little bit ago, I felt one hit it, and it ends up being a 1.5 pound white bass.
Roland's trip to Melwood Lake must have seemed long. It was long, an hour 45, about 2 hours actually. But the real story today is that 3.5 hour journey that Randy Blockett and Davey Height are on. A journey that will end a long ways downriver at Lake Whittington. Just across from Lake Melwood, where we saw Roland Martin fishing earlier, is Lake DeSoto, right across the river. Looking in now on Ricky Klein and Tim King, his co-angler partner.
Tommy, we're looking in on some quality bass too, aren't we?
That one looks real good.
Practically every fish we've seen today is in that 3 to 5 pound range. And man, that, as I say, that is quality. And Rick is fishing at DB2. Crankbait that's probably going to dive about 5-6 feet of water. He's been very successful with this lure all year long. And you know what? Maybe you don't even pay attention to the lure. Watch how he positions his boat and watch the rhythm that he has on cranking that bait. He's really in a zone with it.
Well, and it's hard to be in a zone after you've taken a 2.5 hour hard run down the river to get to DeSoto there. Back up there, only 75 miles south of Memphis, Lake Tunica. Here is William Fletcher, his co-angler partner. That is Normal Morgan.
And I live in Memphis, and I fish this area quite often. I've got a lot of confidence in them. I've won some tournaments here, caught some good fish here. Had some successes and some failures here. But for the most part, when they're biting, when they turn on, you can get a bag.
Again, Lake Tunica is about 1/3 of the way between Memphis and Lake Whittington. Gary Klein is also fishing here in Lake Tunica, won the event last year right here in Tunica Lake, so William Fletcher knows what he's talking about.
Come by. There's Steve. Good job, partner. He'll keep to start. Good job, man. Thank you.
Rick, we were saying you've been running kind of a taxi service.
Yeah, I think the only 2 guys that were ahead of me after the first 2 days got a gar. The only 2 guys that were ahead of me the first 2 days were the ones I brought in.
So now do you just factor in time to pick up somebody and factor that in?
Yeah, I want to make a little extra time to pick up somebody today, too.
Yeah, it might happen, mightn't it?
Well, I hope I can. You know, if I need it, somebody will be behind me as well.
Yeah, that's right. You got to think of it that way. Making these runs, of course, is nothing new to you, and going to all this effort to catch these fish, it makes it quite exciting for the viewers. How do you feel about it, though, at the end of the day when you're all beat up like this?
It's not making these kind of runs isn't new to me. I've only done this kind of run one other time in 27 years. So.
Oh, you mean that sort of length, that sort of roughness?
Well, length and roughness. You know, that's the real key in any rough water is how long you got to be in it. I've been in bigger waves, but I've never been in waves that are, you know, for that long.
What's the most hazardous thing about travel on the Mississippi River?
I think that you just got to be on your toes constantly. There's just too many things out there that can take place. You know, the barge wake, floating logs, wing dams, all of those kind of things.
Well, guys, good luck getting back. Hopefully you won't have to pick anybody up, but I know you will if you have to.
Yeah, Rick.
Well, I can give you one good reason why the quality of the fish are so high back here in all these lakes. There is so much feed back here, so much shad and small bluegill and so on. And the watercolor is just perfect.
Absolutely. Fished at DeSoto here yesterday, and the bay fish are incredible. There's a layer of them on the top. Sometimes you can't get your lure down. Under them is a layer of garfish, sometimes even white bass, all of that before you get to flat bass.
About every time you cast, the shad just run everywhere. And that makes great crankbait and spinnerbait fish in water. One of these boys, it falls right in his game plan.
That fish was stronger than that first one, and even at about 3 pounds.
Well, again, this is third day action from this Walmart FLW Tour event on the Mississippi River. That means 10 boats are out there fishing today. We've seen 3 of them. We've seen Klein. We've seen also Roland Martin and William Fletcher. But 2 of the boats that we'll be watching today have not even reached their destination yet. Randy Blockett and Davey Hyde are still running incredibly 180 miles to find this chute right here that's going to take them into Lake Whittington. Walmart FLW Tour event, a wild one on the Mississippi River. Lots of boat running, but some great fishing as well. Of course, this is third day action, so this is the Co-Angler's Day. We will crown our Co-Angler champion today. That one right there is Tom Hundley in the back of the boat with Roland Martin.
Hey, I want to point out the 5 pros that we're not covering today. This is a heck of a lineup, Tommy. Gary Klein, Tim Cook, Larry Fraser, Craig Powers, and Tracy Adams. Boy, that just tells me we're going to have a great finals.
That finals, of course, will be coming up next week here on the Walmart FLW Tour. Right now, we got tremendous fishing. We're not going to take our attention away from this.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. If they hit on that pattern, I'm going to catch a lot of fish here, boys. That's the pattern. One of the patterns. That's how I caught the 14 pounds of fish the other day when the first day of the tournament. I couldn't catch them on the logs too good because everybody had the logs. For some reason, they weren't on the logs good for me. So I got out on these steeper banks and started cranking this pretty deep plug. It's real slow. And as it comes out of that about 5 foot water, that one there was a classic example. He just went tick, much like these white bass. I've caught 2 white bass doing that. And you think you maybe fooling with white bass, but you're fooling with 3 to 6 pound largemouth too.
Across the river in DeSoto, Tim King is fishing with Rick Clunn. He plans to move to the front of the boat next year, but this year he's being observant, trying to learn all he can.
If a person is able to accept the knowledge not in a straightforward answer, you can learn a lot. Some of the stuff you learn is not told to you. It's by seeing and just hearing things that other people say. So you do learn a lot in back of the boat.
Well, Tim is with maybe the most knowledgeable fisherman on the planet today. Rick's not going to say a whole lot, though, as we know. When he does, though, you really want to listen. And until then, I hope that Tim and I hope our TV viewers, as a matter of fact, pay close attention. And you know what? He doesn't say a lot. Rick Clunn doesn't say a lot because he focuses to the point of blocking everything out, including conversation, Tommy.
There in Lake DeSoto, I don't know if you heard that, Jerry, but Rick is now about to fix Tim up with one of those crankbaits. One of those bagged crankbaits like the one he's been using, like the one, the same brand, the one that turned on Beaver Lake. Davey Hyde, look at that. We're halfway through the show. Davey Hyde is yet to make a cast. Could he be close? He's got to be getting close to Lake Whittington. There you can see Randy Blockett and his co-angler partner there. They're in a cutoff lake, and that, folks, is Lake Whittington. They have finally made it.
Now, you might be wondering, why are they going to sacrifice so much time to go all this way? And I'll tell you why. Of course, when they first started, there was a lot of boats, so they're trying to get out of the traffic. And another reason is the fishing is darn good down there.
That's exactly what they found out, and that's why they're back there today.
David, what's your mindset knowing that you have an hour to fish, hour and a half to fish, and you've got to catch a lot of fish in an extremely short amount of time?
You sure do, and you know, this water is falling every day, but it fell a lot last night, and the fish have moved every day, but I've been able to locate them. You just don't have much time, but you know, this place has got so many fish, this particular lake's got so many fish that I'd rather be here for 2 hours than a lot of other places for a week, I think.
You know what? I think a lot of us, Tom, you and I, we overlook the fact that how many fish you guys are around. We're so into the story seems to be that ride down the river and all the stuff that everyone has to go through. These lakes are incredible fisheries, aren't they?
They really are, and you know, the water level is, you know, north of here, there's a lot of good fishing holes, but you couldn't get in them. And, you know, it's taken a while for the water to fall this far south. And, you know, a lot of people didn't even consider this lake because, you know, a few years ago with just carbureted engines, you couldn't even consider running this far.
Right.
But with the Evinrude thick ram injected engine, you can run this far and we get gas here and run back.
Are the bait fish all over the place down there still kind of going crazy? They're still spawning, the little shad and everything?
Well, last night was a full moon, and they had been, you couldn't hardly, your spinnerbait blades couldn't hardly even turn.
Yeah.
They were hitting it, but today they're not doing that. I don't know if the combination of the moon was last night and that's over, or the wind's not blowing as much in here today as it has been.
Are you throwing it at target, or at least attempting to throw it at target every cast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm around a marina right now, and it's, you know, a lot of these shad are spawning around here, and, you know, I'm definitely throwing every cast. I think I'm going to catch one for you.
Yeah. You think it'll still be, if you can catch them today, is it going to, do you have to do something different tomorrow, or are things changing that rapidly there?
Yeah, I mean, when the lake's kind of flat, actually, and for it to fall 18 inches, it eliminates an awful lot of water. I've been catching a few fish on one particular point the first few minutes I've been here every day but today, and the shad weren't there and the fish weren't there. The water had dropped. It's only like 2 feet deep there now.
Across the lake there's Randy Blockett. His co-angler partner there, Michael Roberts, is a regular river fisherman. He knows what's going on.
He really is. Of course, this water is falling, and everyone's talking about that. You have to change plans a lot.
Oh my God. Mine deal, just like you don't find it yet. You just have to sort of take your best guess. Water clarity is a lot better in here.
I didn't think it was supposed to fall with a couple of pence last night.
It has dropped a lot more than that. Goodbye. I must have been so hard.
Slow start for Randy Blockett on a day when you can't afford a slow start. Not with that long trip. Davey Hyde throwing the spinner bait, covering a lot of water, and then he has found to be starting right where he left off on the last qualifying day.
That's a cow.
Got it?
Boy, she is. That's number 2. The other one's low.
You know what? I've never seen a pro hand his fish to a non-boater live. Maybe must have a lot of confidence.
He would not accept that fish. If I dropped that fish and I was a co-angler, I'd go in right after.
I've never seen that before.
I saw her get it. Here's another one, same size.
I got it.
Tell you to watch Clun work that crankbait. Well, watch Davey fish this spinnerbait. He's working just under the surface now. And he's going to hesitate it when
Don't
it
take
drops
long
over
once
those
you find
logs of the cover. And the second it hesitates, that's when those fish will jump on it. Van Hyde is really good at this.
I stuck her a little bit. That was her boyfriend there, probably. She hit it again. I fished down here yesterday on this side just a little bit yesterday afternoon, kind of get a feel for it because I was hoping that I'd make it to the day, and then, you know, we caught a fish or two. But the way that's falling over there, every fish in here ought to pull over here.
Not exactly sure that I'm following Dave
Well,
right there.
I tell you
It
what.
would fall on both sides, wouldn't it?
Well, I tell you what, it cools the water out of those little trees and everything that Randy's around over here. He needs to send that message across the bay to Randy.
Yeah.
No, it pulls the fish from out of that cover, and then maybe the only cover they have is to go over around the logs and the cover that Randy's actually fishing. Whatever it is, it's working on his side and not on Randy's side.
I think you watching my face. You said, "Good gracious, time you rolled." Thank you. Can't trust just any partner to handle fish, but Charlie and I, we was together yesterday. Just worked out. He finished in the same place that I did. So we've been beat together.
The FLW Tour on the Mississippi River. We're down on Melwood Lake. Roland Martin is still there.
And this is the non-boaters day, Tommy, and
Tom
maybe
Huntley doing
maybe
good.
this is the toughest event a non-boater ever fished, and actually you experienced it a little bit yourself. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Ran down fished it yesterday. That was my second day. Didn't qualify for the third day. Fished with John Curry. We went all the way to DeSoto. Made that 2-hour
Oh
run. and
man,
hit one of those barge waves. Just about boat.
Got
Kind of rough out there.
got your money's worth.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe that rain will stop. Okay. That feels better. After my shampoo and shirt. Well, let's see. I got a 4 and a 3. 7, 8, 9. Is that 9 pounds? I need 2 5-pounders. Come on, 5-pounder! There's one. There's one. I got one.
That's a good one.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To go 4. Almost 4. He's right there.
White bass. Yeah. I thought that's what it was. I couldn't tell. The thing must be loaded with. They still won't let go of my grub. Look at him. Grow up and be a man one day. You got one? That's back. Okay. Good job, man. Good keep.
Right down the road here a little bit.
Fish. Please be a bass. Please be a bass. I love it. Woo! These fish. There's probably a
Maybe there's one
fish
in the bag.
There's
Look
probably
inside
one in the
the
bag. No,
Oh, no fish.
dishwater.
That's a bag bass.
Edit that, please.
We wouldn't dream of it, William. Shows you have a great imagination. The bag bass ends this segment. We got more to come.
You know, Tommy, I've referred to these lakes, Tunica, DeSoto, Whittington, as ponds on an occasion too. These are giant lakes, actually.
Big horseshoe lake.
Yeah.
Beautiful, really.
During the tournament, they're sometimes 40 or 50 boats in them, as a matter of fact. So these guys with just maybe one or two other boats are just practically by themselves.
Now, Larry Frazier is also fishing in DeSoto Lake there, and I believe Larry's already got his limit. He's heading back. He has to tell Rick about this. These guys have to watch out for each other. It really is treacherous out there on that river.
I'm going to go back if I have a limit around 1. If I don't, I might stay up here 15 more minutes. Say what? Good. He's the one throwing that big spinnerbait? What's that? So he's the one throwing that big spinnerbait? He's the one that's throwing the big spinnerbait. He's the one I brought back the first day.
I just can't believe we're not getting some bites.
The water's falling out too fast. Don't you think?
Gotta be
He
this.
did it to him Tunica last week too. When his big fall came through about 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm. But I'm like you. I mean, not usually you can catch them in the willows until it's out of the willows.
That's right.
That's what I don't understand. Especially on these outside tips there.
What a reversal of fortune for Randy Blockett. Take a look at this video from the first day of the tournament. 21 pounds and 14 ounces of fish. The big ones just keep coming, going into that bag there. Just can't get anything going today.
And then the next day, the next qualifying day, you went back there and almost repeated again.
16:02 on the
Actually
second
not trying very hard, just trying to get enough to make sure he was going to post on in. And he did, had the top qualifying weight. But you know what, Tommy? He has lost his confidence, it seems to me like anyway, and is just really not getting with it. Davey Hyde on the other
100 yards away, Davey Hyde. Look at that.
and he's on fire. And look at the two pieces of bank here that we're talking about fishing. So Davey is actually fishing a bank that has logs and laydowns on it. Randy on the other side of the bay. We'll see him again here in a little bit. Is fishing the willow trees. So this is a real case of Randy has lost his confidence and
We need a bigger.
hasn't caught. He hasn't enough time to make a turn.
Fish. Oh, God. Woo, that was good. That was good. Better look next time. It's one of them deals where you forgot to set the hook.
That's tough.
Where's that stinger hook when you need it?
Fish.
Oh, have we found a little point of fish on it?
He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Oh, white.
Lots going on. We switch back and forth long distance here. By this time, getting home has got to be on the mind of these anglers.
I don't know.
I didn't know if you're going to get it or not.
No, you need to be fishing.
Well, he'll help a little bit, but I mean, I'm gonna have to have a bigger, one more big than that one I lost out there a while ago. Sure.
Fish. Good. Thank you, partner.
Oh, they come out.
Come on, we gotta hurry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ooh. I only have time to reach out. Come on, boys, be here. God, please be here. 2 more bites like that, and I'm in this thing.
Oh, the time gets more and more important, especially on a tournament like this when you got such a long.
Here you go.
boat.
And you got a live box full of fish. I mean, if you get in there late and have lost all your weight, that's got to be a killer. And the quality of these fish makes you want to try one more cast. You know what I mean? Get that. Oh gosh. Get him in there. Yeah. Thank you. Get you one right quick. We gotta go. That's what you call making it happen at the end. Boy, the place is just so good. It's hard to make stuff leave before you got to.
Great as it's been for Davey Height, that's how bad as it's been today for Randy Blind.
Let's run up to that first place we started. We got 15 minutes to fish. And enough time to catch a nice big bass.
Well, the goal is make it to tomorrow. That's all you have to do on this third day for the pros. Rolling, not far off.
He's got one spot up here. Remember he talked about it during the day. He's got one spot that he's had a lot of luck at in qualifying days, and I bet that's a spot he keeps going back and forth to. Of course, these guys, they don't really know what the other fishermen have. Clun here's got a live box full of fish, but he doesn't know that that's enough.
Get in that net.
He hit that on top of water. Saw that.
If you think we're doing the wrong thing here.
All right.
Jim King, the co-angler there, sounds pretty happy. It's time for the co-anglers to make a move. Again, this is their day, their final day of fishing. We'll crown our amateur champions today.
They have a nice prize waiting for them back in Memphis and weigh in. And you know what? I think that all these pros, all the boaters should be commended on how they handle the boats, not only during the fishing segment of the show, but again, Tommy, you were out in this tournament. You know how tough that big river was going up and down.
Absolutely. You know, you got the current going down south, the wind blowing the opposite direction makes those big waves stand up. It's really rough out there. A lot of other hazards.
One qualifying day, didn't you have like 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds?
30-mile-an-hour winds. Each of the buoys out there in the river was just had about 5 boats tied to it. It was really a graveyard for boats.
So it was pretty. It was a pretty amazing performance, I think, because everybody persevered and no bad stories to tell.
Yes, sir. I needed that one.
Again, we're not covering all 10 boats today, but I think it's safe to say that Ricky Klein made it. That's a great stringer.
And you know what? Now we're starting to get to the point of the day where O.T. and Davey Hyde, they have to start thinking about tomorrow a lot. Do I save these fish? Do I have enough to make it? You know, they don't know what every other boat has caught.
Will those fish even be there?
That's right. So it really becomes a lot of strategy starts working its way in it. And quite honestly, Rick Clun doesn't really like this format. He'd rather carry his weight over from day to day. But he doesn't say anything about it. He just goes on trying to catch his fish.
Well, it's probably a good policy, especially when you're so far away from the other boater. You have no idea how much the other guys have.
Tommy, it looks like all the wildlife is out today.
Bait fish, the snakes, the squirrels, they're all going crazy. It's just that time of year.
Some of the guys we don't want to know is out there.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what? Let's talk about this fishing. Man, is this river got some bass in it or what?
Well, these lakes are incredible. I'd love to have another crack at this place.
You know what? Remember last year, Gary Klein got up on the stage after he won. He said, this is the best bass fishing stretch in the world. And I thought, you know, that's some PR stuff, trying to sound good. Good for Gary. He may have been telling the truth.
We are ready now to start our weigh-in. Over the last 2 days, we've had the best anglers in America go out and test their talents against the fish here on the Mississippi River. And the top 10 are all that remains here today. The top 10 pros, the top 10 co-anglers. We're going to weigh in our 10 co-anglers first, crown the champion there, and give them a check for $15,000. And then we're going to weigh in our 10 pros, and we're going to eliminate those down to our top 5. We'll have 5. We'll start all over again at 0 tomorrow. And again, one of those 5 anglers tomorrow here on stage is going to check for $100,000.
But again, we've been saying it all day. This is the Co-Anglers Day, this Thursday of competition. You'll remember Tom Hundley from Stanton Ground Kentucky fishing there, Roland Martin down in Melwood Lake and having a great day.
What a beautiful explanation from Charlie Evans there about what is happening. Tommy, you and I can even understand it.
That's a good explanation.
Evans is the man, I'm telling you. Hey, these guys in the back of the boat, we probably take them for granted a little bit because they work awful hard back there. They practice a few days, they get themselves ready. They work, especially in this tournament, they work awfully hard.
Oh, yeah, when he told me we were taking a short ride, I kissed the ground before I left, and I'm going to kiss it again when I get back.
Tell us how you've been catching your fish throughout the week, Tom.
I've caught all my fish on spinner baits and jigs, equal amounts of both. I mean, I've caught, you know, half of them on jigs and half of them on spinner baits.
It's a little bit tougher, actually, isn't it, being a co-angler and having to hang onto that boat. The angler's got the steering wheel and so forth and places to put his feet and everything. It's a little bit tougher to be out there exposed as a co-angler, isn't it?
Yeah, the bad thing about it is if you're making a long run for about 2.5 hours, your muscles are tightened up for that long, and when you get done at the end of the day, you're a little sore.
Hats off into Charlie Jones. He should be really tight there, going an hour beyond Tim King there.
Boy, he had the ride, but Davey had him in the fish all day long. And Armel Morgan, who was with our buddy William Fletcher from Memphis, also had a lot to say about the ride.
First time in the top 10 out here on the Walmart FLW Tour. Kind of thrilling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Pretty exciting. I've had a lot of fun doing it, and probably do it again.
All right. A lot of guys are fishing a lake called Millwood here on the river. Now, you fished one called Millwood back home. What are the differences?
Yeah. Actually, I grew up on a river. I grew up at Lake Dardanelle, the Arkansas River.
Really? Yeah.
So this is quite familiar water to me as far as the fishing technique.
Armel Morgan from Mineral Springs, Arkansas. Actually lives close to Lake Millwood there.
And these guys, Tommy, the back of the boat guys caught fish in a variety of different methods.
Even sitting down up there.
Even sitting down. That fish, I believe, is going to be caught on plastic worm, Texas bait, but obviously they caught lots of crankbait. They caught lots of fish on spinner baits along with the plastic worm.
Good day for Armel Morgan from Mineral Springs, Arkansas. But time now to head back to the stage. Charlie Evans weighing in the amateurs. Tom Hundley with 8 pounds and 5 ounces. Will it hold up?
You're our pro leader again. So stay up here, Tom. And what do you think the chances are with 8.5? You could be champion here.
I'd love to win, but, you know, we still got 6 or 7 guys back there and quite a few of us holding back.
All right, so you stay right here real close. Don't run off anywhere. Kind of lean on that if you need to for some security there. And we'll bring up our next thing where, again, we worked up these guys caught more during the first 2 days than our current leader has. Next, we're going to bring up Craig Clayton from Rogers, Arkansas. Come on up here, Craig. All right, Craig's got a good bag in there. I guess you heard what the job is. 8 pounds, 5 ounces. Tom's got in the lead. You got to get to 8.6.
That's a pretty good bag.
Let's see. All right, we're going to watch him. Tom watched very close here. He's in at 8.5. Pull the first one out. Let's see what you've got in your bag. Got to get the 8 pounds, 6 ounces, take over the lead, have a shot at winning this event. $15,000 plus an automatic slot. Stay up here with me now. Don't hide on me. See, there you go. Got to get plus an automatic slot in our year-end championship presented by Citgo for only the top 44 anglers for the year, and our 6 tournament winners are invited to that no entry fee event. Here comes number 2. That's a beautiful fish there. That's 2 good solid fish. We are up into the 6 pound range. You got more? Reaching again for number 3. Got one more? All right, then one more there. That's it. That's any more in there? All right, pull out. Let's pull them all out. See what you got. Here comes number 4. He's got 4 there. Any more in the bag? 5's the limit. He's reaching. He's digging. He has a limit. A 5 bass limit for Craig Clayton. Come on, Craig. Let's put him in here and weigh him in. 5 fish here. All these are alive. Total weight. Our new tournament leader, 16 pounds even. 16 even. So long to Tom. Man, a lot. 16 pounds from the back of the boat. Wow. Wow, what a day you've had. When did you catch these fish?
Really caught them all day. Started out early and just had a bite all day long. Really only got 6 bites. Lost one of them. But kind of got 5 in each. Mississippi River, what an adventure that was. And congratulations to our AM winner today, Craig Clayton. He outlasted 9 other AMs and picked up the big win. And you know what? I'm really excited about knowing who our top 5 will be for next week's finals. Got 10 to start with, but we're going to cut them down to 5.
We got our 5 guys, Charlie. Tell me it is going to be a shootout tomorrow.
It will be. What a great, great crew. Introduce them one more time, Charlie.
One of these 5 guys is going to walk away here tomorrow with $100,000, and it might be Ken Cook from Mears, Oklahoma.
That's a good start.
That's a great start, Ken Cook.
That water quality, don't you see a change about halfway through your fishing day.
Yeah, with 50 or 60 boats running back and forth around in Tunica where I've been fishing, and the wind's been blowing too on those muddy banks. They get real flat, shallow, muddy banks. And when that mud gets stirred up, the oxygen level goes down, pH level goes down, and the fish, they get real negative and hard to catch. They back away and get away from the targets and spin, and they're really hard to catch. And it's been hard to catch them after mid-morning most days. And we didn't get a very early start any morning, really. If we can get an early start, we might really catch them, because in practicing there, it was criminal how good you could catch them for a couple of hours.
For the first time in the top 5 from Madisonville, Kentucky, it could be Larry Frazier. Fishing out the Ever Start boat today. Number 2. Or the man sitting in the Land O'Lakes boat from Weatherford, Texas, Gary Klein. He's got it.
Oh, my word. Man, oh, man.
5 fish for Gary Klein.
But every day I'm forced to change. And I really don't know what to expect, except for I'm going to get me 4, 5, 6 hits, doing whatever. But every day I'm having to change my approach on the banks that I'm fishing, because the water's been dropping about 6 to 8 inches a day.
Or possibly sitting behind the stage here from Prosperity, South Carolina, Davey Hyde. And number 5.
What a 2.5 hour run way down the river. And man, he was as chipper as anybody I'd ever heard in my life. How do you sound enthusiastic and chipper after you've made a run like that?
You're just glad that you got it there that far and made it there. You know, it's brutal. That river is so brutal at times. Then this afternoon it was gentle as a lamb almost. You never know what it's going to be until you get out there. But the water's so low, most of the people are running a long way. But you're just forced to go to get in the areas that you can get in.
Could it be 2 in a row for world champion Ricky Klein from Ava, Missouri? And he has
Looking for 15-2 or better.
The long runs, you said you never made runs this long in many, many years of tournament fishing. It's got to affect you a little bit, especially when you stop that boat and you have to change your mindset and think about fishing rather than just surviving that run.
Yeah, it is, because there's so much strategy involved, and there's so many things that can go wrong when you do that. And a lot of people say, boy, you've done that kind of deal a lot. No, this is the longest run I've ever made in my 27-year career. So even for me, it was a little bit extra effort. And I don't think I've ever been in as rough a water for as long as I was yesterday.
This has been a presentation of EA.
Running the Mississippi River there, you can have flat water like this, but if you get behind a lot of these barges, they push so much water with their prows that it's real rough for 3 or 4 miles after you go by the barge. And there are stretches of the river where you have real heavy barge traffic, and you might have 10, 14 lined up in a row, and it's just like a 20-mile-an-hour wind. You can't run very fast in them. So that's kind of a determining factor when you're running 100 miles or 180 miles like some of the other anglers are doing. This event's going to be won with a good bag. So I know that I'm going to have 5 key hits. I haven't been getting very many bites during the tournament. The most I've had is 8 bites in one day. So today, if I could get me 5, I'd get them all on the boat. They could weigh over 20 pounds.
Well, welcome to Memphis, Tennessee. It's the Walmart FLW Tour, 2nd year in a row here. Last year, of course, Gary Klein put on that incredible fishing display down at Lake Tunica. This year, it's a completely different river, dozens of feet lower than it was last year, which means the hundreds of lakes available to these anglers have dwindled down to about 3 in which they can catch enough fish to win this tournament. At number 1, Tunica Lake, where we had our launch today. Also, we've got Lake DeSoto, about an hour down the river, and almost 2 hours down the river is Lake Whittington. Jerry McInnes is with us, and Jerry's up in the chopper watching some of our fishermen make these incredible runs.
Tommy, we just talked about this earlier. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone here.
Yeah.
We are probably, 150 miles from you downstream.
Hey, get close to it anyway.
And, well, first of all, I want to say that a couple of events ago over on Murray Reservoir, you and I got to touting all the big stringers of fish we were going to have. And then things that happened around fishing tournaments started happening,
Yeah.
And those big strings didn't show up. So, I hate to go out on that limb again, but I do want to say this. As we were watching 2 of the boats, obviously 2 of the boats right off my shoulder here, I do want to say this. During the qualifying days, Wednesday and Thursday, there were 35 times that fishermen weighed in fish over 15 pounds.
That's incredible. It's been wonderful.
And then these 5 guys that qualified yesterday had from 16 to 18 pounds.
They were all within a pound of each other, the 5 guys who qualified. And man, what a qualifying field we've got here in Memphis.
This is like a Legends tournament, isn't it?
It's a dream come true. It is the Legends tournament. We've got Rick Klein, who won our last outing over at Beaver Lake. We've also got Davey Hyde, the winner of our championship 2 years ago in the Quad City. We've also got Larry Frazier, first time ever in the top 10. He's made it all the way to the top 5. He is excited to be here and fishing up in Tunica Lake. Of course, last year's champion, the Gary Klein. And we've got Ken Cook, who made the final 5 last year as well.
And Tommy, really, we're going to get into this fishing because it's going to be good. I am going out on that limb again.
Right.
It's going to be good. But this trip, this adventure these guys have taken today and for the last 3 and 4 and maybe 6 and 7 days is almost a bigger story than the fishing itself.
Well, the first 2 fishermen to reach their fishing spots will be Ken Cook and Gary Klein. Klein, in fact, is now at the most critical point to shoot the entrance into Tunica Lake from the river.
Once I make this bend right here, I'm going to have to get it going pretty good.
One wrong move, a bad turn here, and Gary's day is done. It's over.
Hang on right through here.
Every night, see, the water drops about a foot, so each morning gets a new adventure for this and every other boat. Staying on plane is what is so critical.
Hang on. We get past you, we got it. Now we can make it on in. I've got one little big flat up here that I got to run across to get into the lake. Then we'll be fishing.
Rick Klein told us yesterday this was the longest run he had ever made in a fishing tournament. And when he said that, it just kind of jolted me You know, Rick Klein, this is the longest Rick
Yeah,
Klein
30
has
years
ever been.
30 years he's been fishing tournaments, and of course Davey Hite today is going 60 minutes past Rick Klein. Davey Hite's only going to have 3 hours to fish.
He's going, what, approximately, like round trip, approximately 380 miles from Memphis.
Just incredible, and so many hazards, so much danger out there. I mean, the chances of him making it back are, well, they're a little shaky. I mean, you got to get back in order to wade fish and qualify for the $100,000 first prize.
Tommy, I am sitting right at the, sitting over DeSoto Lake. Larry Frazier's already come through. You're going to talk to Larry in a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, Larry Frazier, who's fishing down at the far end of
The
DeSoto
far
Lake.
end, and Rick Klein, followed by his camera crew, have just made their way through the chute. And again, I have to tell you that this is like scary.
Yeah, I know.
It's really the twilight zone. I just feel like we are in the end of the world. No one around, no houses around, no boat docks, no people. And it's amazing, first of all, that these guys found these places and then can make it back and forth to them every day.
You know, the water's still dropping, Jerry. That's a very small chute. There's room for one boat to get through there. If they're getting 18 inches of water falling out every day, I mean, there's a possibility they could be stuck in DeSoto Lake until somebody comes and picks them up with a trailer, and that's going to disqualify from the tournament. So it's it's not a sure thing yet, even if they catch a big sack of fish.
Should catch one right on this cast right here.
Well, hey, we're finally fishing, and Ken Cook is sounding pretty confident.
There he is. There he is.
And with that fish on, along with our other competitors, have been throwing spinner baits a lot this week. His being a 3/8 ounce heart spinner bait, which he's put a lot of work into himself.
Yeah, baby. That'll start. I do love this sport.
And yes, we do know Gary Klein is well known for his jig fishing, but he too has started his day with a spinner bait.
Yeah. There's a pink bass. That's the first fish I caught on a spinnerbait since I've been here. So, yeah, it kind of goes to show that you got to be open to adjustments. You know, with no sun out, see, we've had sunshine, and with the sunshine, those fish have been really tight in the cover. And when you have a low light condition like this, what they are is around the cover. They're not in the cover. So I've been catching my fish in here in the afternoon, flipping a jig in this stuff. And I figured first thing this morning, maybe they'll hit a spinnerbait a little bit around the cover. And that fish came to the cover to get the bait. It wasn't in it, it was just around it. The good part about this is, the three of the guys ain't even got close where they're going yet.
But there was about a 3-pounder on that little limb right here just a second ago. I'll catch him before the day's over.
Well, we have 4 out of 5 anglers now fishing. Davey Hite still about an hour from his first cast. Larry Frazier here settled down in the back end of Lake DeSoto, where the bait fish are so plentiful in the shallow waters. They're bringing the bass right up to the bank.
Told you I was going to catch that rascal.
It's up the lake not too far west of Larry Frazier against Rick Klein. Now, in the first 5 years of the Walmart FLW Tour, we've had several anglers who have made impressive runs over 5 or 6 tournament spans. David Fritz, his 3 wins back in 1997, that certainly comes to mind. Right now, this fellow we're watching, Rick Klein, he has won 1 run himself. He's fished well all season long. The last event, the Walmart Open on Beaver Lake, Bentonville, Arkansas, he won that one. Today, he's in a position to go back-to-back. He's put himself where he can have another victory today. Watch this here. At the crankbait run up the bank there, just on through the Beaver Lake. And nice put himself on top of the heap. Comes to all-time earnings on this every other circuit. He's truly, shall we say it, he's the best that there's ever been to this point.
Sanders, I think the fishing close to home is for sissies. We're still zooming down the Mississippi River, about 50 miles from Springfield, Mississippi. Man, I hope Davey Height knows where he's going. I really hope he can get us back home, too. And, folks, fishing's good when a scoreboard appears in the first segment of the show.
Fishing 70 miles south of Memphis at Tunica Lake, Ken Cook and Gary Klein. This is Ken Cook we're looking at right now.
That is a nice one. Yeah, baby. Thought it'd been nice having that right there. Gotcha. Yeah, bass. Yeah, baby. That one's for Tammy. It bent my spool bait, but I think I'll bend it back. God, I love this.
Come up there, y'all. I mean, I saw the flash today.
Yeah, buddy. Now, this is one here that I'm not going to have to call. So, the way my mind's working right now is I'm ahead of schedule. Those other guys are still running. And I've got 2 fish, as far as I'm concerned, in the box right now that I don't have to worry about doing anything with as the day goes on. So I need 3 more hits like this, and I think I can win this thing. That right there is a solid 4. She'll go in the big fish box. I don't know if that was the fish that missed me on that first cast or not, on that first drop. Something popped in this as soon as it went in. And, you know, you can never really be sure until you actually see the fish. But I dropped the jig in the first time, and I saw the flash and the pop, and, you know, actually the fish never got the bait. But what happens a lot of times, these fish are laying in this real heavy cover like this, and I don't know how he's positioned. So the fish has got to get to the bait with his mouth. And what happens a lot of times with these big fish is they turn and they take, you know, it's like a big jet airliner. It takes a lot of runway to turn around. And that's where, you know, you swing and miss the fish. So obviously repeat the cast.
Gary Klein, always so free with the good info, and switching out to a fisherman who may be the best spinnerbait angler we know of. Really had a big time today.
Long net pays off here. Yeah, man. See that gar laying there? There's actually 2 gar. I don't know if you've seen them land. See their tails? See how they're just tucked right in the bushes? Watch, I'm gonna drop my jig right there beyond that jig. See that gar sitting there? That's just what those bass are doing. They're laying up there in that little bit of green stuff. See there? See that gar get me? And that's exactly what these bass are doing. See, there's no cover. You look at all the willow trees on the bank, and these fish are used to laying up in this green stuff.
Ken Cook with a limit of fish before basically the other fellas made it to their fishing spot, at least the ones who were going to DeSoto and Whittington Lake. And Ken, I mean, you know, you got to feel good, but you can't feel complacent, right?
No, I don't have enough yet. I've only got 3 good fish and two smaller fish, but you know, that's good. I mean, I'm ahead of schedule, I figure. So
Did it surprise you how well they bit this morning? Did you think it was going to diminish?
No, I expected it to be this is the first time we've gotten here this early. And that's one advantage I have is being here early. And they've been on a real early bite. They had been a real shallow spawn, and they're doing that a little bit this morning. And the fish are right up there in the bushes where they're supposed to be, and they love my spinnerbait.
Now, what size is that spinnerbait, and how does it compare with the size of these shad that are swimming around over there?
Well, that's one of the keys, Tommy, is when I got here and practiced and saw how most of the shad are fairly small, to like 2 inches long. I went down, I tried my bigger spinnerbait, which last year I caught them on a big spinnerbait, big blades. And I tried that, it didn't work very well, and the fish were real shallow in these bushes. And so I started throwing a little bitty spinnerbait with like a 3 and a 4 willow leaf blades.
Now, how are you retrieving that spinnerbait? It's not just a straight fast retrieve.
I try to match the cover, try to put the spinnerbait as close to the bush or log or whatever I'm trying to fish, try to get it very close to the cover. The fish don't really want to run out away from their ambush point to get the bait usually. That last nice one I caught did. But most of them have been real tight to cover, and I got to get the spinnerbait right in their face, basically, for them to bite it. And it's been a little better than that this morning, but I expect as the day goes on, I'll have to slow down again.
All right. Tell us about these old river lakes, Ken, with your fisheries biologist background. Are these fish going to bite all summer long, through the spring and into the summer?
Oh, yes, they will. It's a very fertile fishery. The backwater lakes have high nutrient levels. They have tons and tons of food fish, shad and such. And so the population of predators is pretty high, especially largemouth bass and gar and white bass and all kinds of stuff. But they all grow fast and they all eat all year round pretty much, except possibly in the dead of winter. The summertime, the feeding periods are short. And usually early morning is the key time, especially in the early summer, because daytime temperatures, the sun, causes that plankton in the water to grow real fast. And when the plankton grows real fast, it causes the pH to go too high. The oxygen level really gets too high. And midday is usually not the best time in summer, but early morning or cloudy days like today, it is a great time to be fishing.
Well, Ken, looking good right now. Keep fishing, and we'll see you in weigh-in time.
I promise you I'll keep fishing.
Okay.
The thing you want to remember is there's practically no fishing on the river itself. The river just becomes a highway to get to Tunington, to get to Melwood, DeSoto, Whittington, any of the oxbow lakes off the Mississippi River. That's where the fishing is at. So these guys have been forced to make these long runs just to get to the fish. And Gary Klein and Ken Cook, man, they've been fishing maybe for an hour and a half already. You wouldn't think you'd want to give a couple of fishermen of that quality that much edge in extra time. But by gosh, the guy we're following here is no slouch either. Davey Height won the FLW championship 2 years ago. He won the Bassmaster Classic last year. He's an incredible fishing machine. So he's got a plan, man.
Well, Jerry, speaking of people with a plan, we're now looking, of course, over the shoulder of Rick Klein. I'm just guessing, here's a guy who has looked forward, believe it or not, to each day's challenge on this river. These have been tough days. Now, honestly, there was a lot of moaning and groaning from a lot of fishermen during the qualifying days. But Rick Klein here, so we're guessing he was just too busy trying to figure things out to spend time complaining.
Got a big old bow fin. It ain't safe to be a minute in this bay, is it? If you're bait fishing here, you're in trouble. Somebody's fixing to have you for lunch.
The Walmart FLW Tour on the Mississippi River down the river. Lake DeSoto. Larry Frazier, first time in the top 10, has made it to the top 5. And Larry, you picked a good one, but a tough one.
Well, yeah, but I've been fishing. I've missed 2 FLW tournaments. The first 2 in the inaugural 1996 season, I missed those 2.
Man.
Since then, I've fished every one of them. I qualified for 2 of the championships. I've been close to 9 top 10 finishes, and missed 9 of them less than 3 pounds.
Oh, my God.
It seems that I have bad luck. I've been in 4th after the first day. This was the 4th time, and I finally made it. I didn't get jinxed again, so it's been close, but no cigar.
What's your favorite kind of fishing, Larry?
Throwing a spinnerbait and flipping a jig.
Spinnerbait and a jig. Have most of your good fish come on jig bites this week?
I've had 2 jig bites yesterday.
Yes.
And today I've caught 3 on a spinnerbait.
Now, are you fishing any rocks? Are there any rocks up at that end of the DeSoto Lake?
Yeah, there's a few scattered rocks, but I'm not keying on the rocks. the mud banks and sand banks seem to be more productive than the rock banks do for me.
Tommy, I've just about run out of things to say. I want to see some fishing. I want to see it right now. Actually, I think we're pretty close. And, before you get to think of it, I'm anxious to think about what David Klein is doing. He's got to make something happen, and he has to make it happen pretty darn fast.
I was going to tell you something, Jerry. You guys had better hurry because Barry Fraser is watching here. Just about to say, he has voted his 5th fish. That's a limit for him. It's hard to believe. Mindbox, Davey High still running. This fellow has a limit here. And another thing I will tell you, those sunflower seeds he's got in his mouth is definitely hampering his communication skills. That's 5.
Wow, that bush, baby. Come on, that boy. See, that's why I retired. Oh yeah. Come on, you got it. I got you. Hold on. Come on, don't go near the bush. Ah, yeah. Yeah, bass. That'll call a pound and a half, huh? Yeehaw. No, he wasn't getting off today.
We have done it, folks. We've made it to Whittington. Davey Hyde is only 15, 20 minutes away from his very first cast of the day. That's hard to believe. And again, we're just hop, skip, and a jump over to Greenville, Mississippi. And you might really be questioning his plan right about now. Hey, this is where he qualified. He qualified very well. This is where he survived the top 10 yesterday. And he just has to stick with it. He just couldn't, just start fishing water that he was unfamiliar with just because it was a little bit closer.
Jerry, in all honesty, we do question his strategy now, particularly what we know what's happening with the other 4 anglers. We wonder if there's any way possible he can catch it.
Well, Tommy, the people of Greenville, Mississippi, who knew Hyde was coming, are already forming the cheering section. They think he can do it. And Davey, how long do you have in this particular spot?
How much longer do I have to fish?
Yeah.
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Yep.
Do you leave yourself a big cushion, or do you cut it pretty close?
Well, it depends on what kind of stringer I got, You have to allow a little extra time because you don't know how the barge traffic will be, but I made great time coming down here this morning.
Tell us real quickly exactly how you're fishing those banks.
Well, this is yesterday afternoon. I found some fish over here on this side. I had been catching them on the other side of the lake over there in the flooded trees, but the water's falling, and almost all the fish are pulled over here on this deep bank on these laydowns. The people here have been great. There's just a little bit of stuff in the water now, and I got a good crowd of people watching me, and they've given me the bank, really, and I really appreciate that.
How much did it fall last night?
I'd say another 1.5 feet.
Hey, I want to ask you one more question, and we'll get out of your way. We don't want to bother you more than we have to here. You mentioned yesterday that you feel like a lot of our viewers perceive fishermen as being lucky, and you didn't want that to happen. Respond to that.
Well, you gotta really want to win mighty bad to drive this much. When I get back today, I will have driven 1,200 miles on the Mississippi River. So if I thought it was all about luck, I'd fish about a half a mile from the boat ramp and have me a rabbit foot in my pocket. It's a lot of hard work and determination and trying to find the right areas to catch fish.
Davey, we really appreciate your time. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you. Well, the water's probably falling 6 feet in 4 days. I'm still basically doing the same thing, but I've had to change where I can do it at. I mean, the fish I caught the first day, squirrels live there now, But, you know, it's just the biggest problem is not having a lot of time. You hope that you can relocate the fish pretty quick. Yesterday, it's kind of a close call. I didn't have any bites, two confidence areas, and then I just had to think a little bit, and I got over here on this deeper bank and was able to catch enough fish to survive until today. Man, is this fun.
Boy, did you see that fish come out from the bush and bust that bait?
Five.
I want you to look out, because here comes Davey Hyde, who's already got a limit of fish. And once again, he's located on the south bank of Lake Whitney.
Now we gotta increase our size.
I just watched you make a move. Are you trying to move and get each one of these little brush piles or cover like what is right in front of you right now?
Yeah, today we've got quite a bit of local traffic. So I've been keying on just the isolated cover. I'm trying to hop around and hit as many of them as I can. The key banks, you know, they've got local boats all over them. But so far it really hasn't made that big a difference. The fish are biting pretty good.
Are you still fishing that DB1 or DB2?
I've caught 2 on it, and I've caught I've caught 3 on it and 5 on spinnerbait.
And is it the same? I know it's like the one you were using up there, one that Ben and Beaver. It doesn't happen to be the same one that you used at Beaver.
No, that one got retired.
You retired it, huh?
I've only retired about 6 lures in my life. Some I won world champions with. And then that one with the being $200,000, first time I've ever won $200,000, so I retired that one.
Well, it deserved to be retired, didn't it? Hey, let me ask you one thing. You know, a lot of things are overlooked by fishermen and viewers and even us. A lot of the real intricate parts of professional bass fishing. Management, time management is one of those things that I think is overlooked.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's magnified in a tournament like this where
Absolutely.
When your fishing is narrowed down all into 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, you don't have time to make any mistakes. You can't get lazy for 1 second.
Every single cast, I guess you just almost count the cast in an event like this where you only have 1 and 2 and 3 hours to fish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I mean, every cast that I cost myself, maybe that fish I need to win it.
Well, Rick, your time is so valuable. We appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us here. We're going to take off and be very careful going home. Good luck on the trip.
Thanks, Jerry.
Well, with everyone fishing, we now finally do get the feeling that we've officially started this competition. There's been some outstanding catches already. Gary Klein has noted several fish that will not be sold.
There's another one I don't have to call. Two more bites. 2 more bites and we're going to have lunch.
Maybe Hyde has. Truth be known, Klein won't be eating much either. Hyde's bait is in about 3 or 4 feet of water. Sometimes if you brush, or a lot of times if you brush, it's not visible to us.
That net was
Boy, now there's some stuff that he's not going to be real proud of. Maybe these guys are a little more nervous than we think they are.
good, and that one right there helped a bunch. 1 or 2 good ones like that, and I could beat a. Whew.
Walmart FLW Tour on the Mississippi River. Take a look at that scoreboard. With a contest or what? 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. You got a terrific fishing tournament going on.
And as we speak, tide is headed back. A limit of fish that's in the 16, 17 pound range, but just before he left, he did his best to excite and entertain all the spectators that way. There's a gang too, boy. And he also beefed up his total weight with not one, but two really outstanding catches.
Oh.
You want to be excited? Now I'm excited.
Definitely great fishing. It looks, though, that tonight's weight will not win the big one today. But please remember, our scores, they're completely unofficial, so you really never do know. You're fishing these very heavy lines. We've seen why throughout the day. 20-pound test or better. It whistles very loudly as the fish strikes and stretches it through the guides there. Rick Klein making a run now. He certainly has the time left. He's still in the productive Lake DeSoto area, and he's having a lot more luck with his net than Davey Heisen. That fish right there, look at that. That moved him from 5th place into the tie for 1st place. 18 pounds now. He's tied with Ken Cook. This tournament is turning out to be everything we had hoped it would be. Rick Klein is making a run. Gary Klein and Ken Cook right with him there, making it close.
Yeah. You're looking at a good bag now. We'll be sure you can do it too. All the way down. When I get to do what I like to do is call. If I have 4 that average 4, there's 16 plus that 2-pounder. That's 18. And I know that those fish are all over 4. I mean, I don't have a 3-pounder in the group. You know, they should be between 4 and 5 pounds. So I might have a 20-pound bag now. But if I get another big hit, then I'll have, I could have 20 to 23 pounds, depending on the size of my next fish that I catch, my next big one. And I can get rid of that little guy. If today is any kind of an indication of what I've seen so far at the spinnerbait, Ken, who's the other angler that's fishing in here with me, may be going over a lot of quality fish because I can't get him to come up on a spinnerbait. I've got to catch him on a jig. However, Ken is probably one of the best spinnerbait fishermen we have on the circuit. And if anybody can finesse these big fish out of this cover with a spinnerbait, Ken can. And, he's been fishing in Tunica now every day I have. So he's getting in tune with the fish too. And, there's my potential threat to win this thing right there. How's that for a high jumper? Yeah. Yeah, bass.
Yeah, baby. Yes, sir.
You see the green bush coming up here? You can barely see the top of it sticking out of the water. Between us and the birds, about 75 yards, 60 yards. That one little top right there, I've caught a 6 and a 5 out of it. So who knows what's going to happen when I dump my jig in there here this morning. I'm going to ease my way on up the bank, and that may be the little top that I need to win this thing. So let's just say it's going to be an intense moment when I drop that jig in there.
Back to the Walmart FLW Tour, Gary Klein has already given us what we call a tease here. He talked about this treetop and what he expects to be an intense moment when he drops his jig into this. It's a rattleback jig, plastic trailer, and second time today he has a chance to score the same piece of brush. There you can hear it. He has got one on there. You see the bush moving. Now he may have to pull the whole thing out of the water. That's why they use the heavy line there.
Yeah! Woo!
Can you believe that?
You can't believe it. He certainly does seem to own this piece of water now. So he is in the position to defend his title.
Buddy. Now, when you're calling fish this size for this size, you got a good bag. Whew. Look at that. Get rid of a few pounds or gain another few pounds. Man, how sweet it is. I told you, coming up that bush, that might be my 100,000 bush. That's 3 big fish I've caught out of that one little top right there.
Patterns or techniques have certainly changed just in the last 2 hours. Spinner baits, crank baits, and now a Rick Klein here with the jig. And any fish is still standing on the last day. Pretty much bet that they are going to know that these things are going to change and they adapt quickly. Regardless of the lure, though, regardless of the technique, all these quality fish in the brush top suspended near the surface.
Yeah!
Wow, that's going to be the fish of the day for Rick Klein.
No, thank you, Mr. Stanley Jig. Wrong skinny boy there.
Gary, a little bit of deja vu here. Seemed like just a week ago we was doing this very same thing with you.
Yes, it is. It's a really good feeling, though. Let me tell you that.
There's only one difference. Where are the willow trees that you were flipping those jigs in last time?
Oh. I'd have to have a 4-wheeler to get up on the bank to get to them.
This is really something, isn't it?
Yeah, the water's actually dropped about 5 vertical feet since the beginning of the tournament.
Good, nice. Are you actually flipping that jig down just in on the bare bank? Or do you see
I've got about 8 different targets up and down this bank that are some sunken brush and stuff that's a little ways off the bank. And that's what the fish seem to be keying on today.
And you can see those in the water all right?
Yeah, I can just barely see the tops of them sticking out of the water.
Hey, well, how about put that jig in your hand for just a minute and really show it to us really good, and then kind of walk us through a couple of pitches into that brush if you would.
Well, I tell you what, Jerry, if it happens to work out, there's a little brush pile that I'm about 20 yards from that I caught a couple big fish out of today. I'm liable to catch another one. If you just hang on here a second, I'll get up close to it and see what happens.
Okay. Gary, what? Also, I heard you say, I think you told me day before yesterday that you didn't think you could win here in Tunica. You know, you still don't know whether you have won here in Tunica, but what changed your mind?
I know this area better than any other place, and I got a lot of confidence in it. I just felt that there wouldn't be any pressure in this lake. That was my decision to stay here.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of goes back to the old saying of dance with who brung you, huh?
Exactly. This little brush top right here, so far I've taken 3 big fish out of it.
Is that today now, or during the last several days?
No, I got a big one out of it today.
Well, what are you doing? Just if you can, talk us through how you're making your pitch and how you see that bait working in the water.
Well, to me, it just resembles a big crawdad or a big sunfish. It's a green pumpkin chartreuse tail jig, and I'm actually just feeling for the brush. Trying to hit the logs or whatever the object is that's down there. Now, if the fish is there, normally they get it on the sink or when I first pick it up. Just exactly the same bite that I had last year when I won.
And it's probably a pretty subtle bite, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You got to lift up, and the fish, they got the jig all the way inside their gullet.
Probably a crappie fishing with jigs could relate to that strike better than a lot of bass fishermen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a real mushy type bite. And that just tells me that the fish, when they bite the bait, they just want to stay in the brush pile. They're not going to leave it.
Davey Heights already running up the river. Larry Frazier here one last time through the chute, as will all our anchors have to make one last run back the way in sight in Memphis, Tennessee. We're almost ready to see who wins this $100,000 championship. Don't go away.
We pick up the weigh-in just after Height has brought up his last fish and is in the lead with 18.6. I think we're going to see some
Ava Missouri.
maybe even more than one.
Ooze and Oz. Don't go away just now. Don't go away just now. Not a good time. It's exciting. Man, oh man, let's take a look at this. 7:15. Man, oh man. It's 7:15.
That one weighs 4 kids. We're going to need one more.
How about that? Wow. Looking for 7:15.
Ricky's limit. These two fish here weigh a total of 9 pounds, 15 ounces.
9:15 for Rick Klein. What a job and a limit. We have to say goodbye to Davey. Man, let's hear it for Davey High. What a week, what a year. Have a seat up in the front of the boat, Davey, and let you watch from there. All right. Back around 2. Let's see. Going to be Larry Frazier. 9 pounds, 2 ounces, Larry. That's what it's going to take, Larry. 9-2 down at Lake DeSoto. Waiting for already. It's going to have to be a heck of a fish.
Fish there. Unfortunately, that is his limit fish that weighs 4 pounds, 7 ounces.
All right. Well, we got to say goodbye to Larry, but man, let's get a hand for the man who is, like we say, living the dream this week. Larry will get you to sit up in the front of the boat there. Ricky Klein, 220 pounds, 7 ounces, still your leader. Back around to Ken Cook now, who's weighed in 3 fish, and Ken is going to take 8 pounds, 10 ounces. 8, 10, in order to stay in this game.
His weight in 3. Could have 2 more left. There's number 1.
1.
This fish here weighs 3.9. Got 1 more left. These 2 fish here, total weight of these 2, 8 pounds even. 8 even.
Oh, not enough. Not enough for Ken Cook. Man, let's give him a hand. Ken, it's been great watching you work on this river and that lake 2 years in a row. Wonderful week. Congratulations. Again, a big hand for Ken Cook from Mears, Oklahoma. Ken Cook. All right. Your leader, as you see, 20 pounds, 7 ounces. Rick Klein, Ava, Missouri, weighed in a limit. Gary Klein has weighed in 4 fish so far. Gary could have 1 more fish for his limit of 5. That fish has got to weigh 4 pounds, 1 ounce in order to win the $100,000 first prize. Before we find out what we always do, take a chance. Quick breather. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Lots to choose from for a Fuji flashback today. Let's give it the height, though, for that circus act that he did on the last fish. The
kind of moment we hope for every time we start one of these Walmart FLW Tour events here on the Mississippi River in Memphis, Tennessee. We got that moment ready to go. Having weighed in 5 fish, our leader right here, Rick Klein from Ava, Missouri, 20 pounds, 7 ounces. Gary Klein over there, weighed in 4 fish. Could have 1 more. He needs 4 pounds, 1 ounce in order to make his limit. Take the lead to win the $100,000 first prize. In the spirit of togetherness, we're going to get Rick to come up here. We want everybody to get a good look at the scale. Gary, 4 pounds, 1 ounce. Championship is yours. The repeat championship on the Mississippi River, if you can do it. There's something there. There he is. Got to be 4-1. Got to be 4-1. Look looking for 4 pounds, 1 ounce. First ever defending championship on the Walmart FLW Tour.
5 pounds, 8 ounces.
Gary Klein is your champion. Let's hear it. Let it go, Gary. 2 different rivers, 1999 versus 2000, 2 completely different, well, not completely, very much different situations. To come back and do what you did, it defies believability. But believe it, you did it.
It has been quite a week. First, I'd have to thank my lovely wife, Jana, my 2 daughters, Dakota and Canyon.
Here they come. All right, everybody's going to get up here. Let's hear it for the entire Klein team here. Hi, Jana. How are you? Congratulations. What a week, Gary. And tell everyone how you caught those fish, because it was such a display last year. Tell us what you did this year.
I'm pretty excited. This was a pretty neat accomplishment for me, and especially anytime you can stand on stage in a world-class event like this and beat out guys like we have sitting here in the boats and shaking Rick Klein's hand because he finished second. It's not very often I have that opportunity to beat him out. He's one of the best there is, and all these anglers that make the cut are the best. You can't stumble in an event like this, especially when you're fishing what I consider one of the finest fisheries in the world, the Mississippi River.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.